a business perspective, sustainability has been defined as a company's ability to achieve its business goals and increase long-term shareholder value by integrating economic, environmental, and social opportunities into its business strategies. The idea of practicing sustainability affects many aspects of business, from the creation of products and services to their uses and subsequent disposal by consumers. Following sustainability practice is one way in which organizations can show their commitment to being responsible. In today's world, where many individuals have diminishing respect for businesses, few organizations can afford the bad press or potential economic ramifications of being seen as socially irresponsible. Ethics commonly refers to a set of rules or principles that defines right and wrong conduct. While most people recognize that something illegal is also unethical, what about questionable legal areas or strict organizational policies? Suppose you manage an employee who worked all weekend on a rush project. You told the employee to take 2 days off sometime later and mark the days as sick days because your company had a clear policy that overtime would not be compensated for any reason. Would that be wrong? As a manager, how would you handle that situation? To better understand what's involved in managerial ethics, let's look at 3 different perspectives on how managers make ethical decisions. The utilitarian view of ethics says that ethical decisions are made solely on the basis of their outcomes or consequences. The goal of utilitarianism is to provide the greatest good for the greatest number of people. In the rights view of ethics, individuals are concerned with respecting and protecting individual liberties and privileges, such as the right to free consent, the right to privacy, and the right of free speech. Under this view, making ethical decisions is simple because the goal is to avoid interfering with the rights of others who might be affected by the decision. Lastly, under the theory of justice views of ethics, an individual is equitable, fair, and impartial in making decisions. For instance, such a manager would pay individuals of similar skills, performance, or responsibility level the same wage and wouldn't base that decision on gender, personality, or favoritism. Whether a manager or employee acts ethically or unethically depends on several factors, including but not limited to their morality, their values or experience, the organization's culture, or the ethical issue being faced. Ambiguity over what is ethical behavior can be a problem for managers. Managers can do a number of things if they're serious about encouraging ethical behavior. They can hire employees with high ethical standards, establish codes of ethics, lead by example, link job goals and performance appraisals, provide ethics training, and implement protective mechanisms for employees who face ethical dilemmas. A code of ethics should be specific enough to guide organizational members in what they're supposed to do, yet loose enough to allow for freedom of judgment. The effectiveness of such codes depend heavily on whether management supports them and engrades them into the corporate culture, and on how individuals who break the codes are treated. If management considers the codes to be important, regularly reaffirms their content, and follows the rules themselves, ethics codes can be strong foundations for an effective corporate ethics program. Ethical leadership, which sets the tone for the employee's behavior, is of critical importance. Managers must be good ethical role models both in words and, more importantly, in actions, which send even stronger signals to the employees. Therefore, if managers take company resources for their personal use, or inflate their expense accounts, or give favored treatment to friends, they imply that such behaviors is acceptable for all employees. When an employee does something unethical, managers must punish the offender and make the outcome visible to everyone in the organization. An increasing number of organizations are setting up seminars, workshops, and ethics training programs to encourage ethical behavior. However, such training raises the question, can ethics be taught? Critics maintain that people establish their individual value systems when they're young, so later training is pointless. However, proponents note studies that show that it's never too late to learn values, and teaching ethical problem solving increases instances for better ethical behaviors, individuals' level of moral development, and awareness of ethical issues in business. Today's domestic and global organizational workplaces reflect tremendous diversity, and managers in those workplaces are looking for ways to value and develop that diversity. Diversity has been one of the foremost business topics over the last 2 decades, along with such modern business disciplines as quality, leadership, and ethics. Workforce diversity is defined as the ways in which people in an organization are different from and similar to one another. Based on civil rights legislation and social justice, the word diversity has traditionally been associated with fair hiring practices and the prevention of discrimination and inequality. Today, diversity focuses on both the differences and similarities of employees, which reinforces the belief that managers and organizations should view employees as having qualities in common as well as differences, and find ways to develop strong relationships with and engage their entire workforce. Managers are also adapting to changes taking place in the workforce with such diversity initiatives as work-life balance programs, contingent jobs, and recognition of generational differences. Due to the 24/7 global business and technological access and dual career families, many organizations now offer family-friendly benefits that provide flexible scheduling options, on-site childcare, flex time, job sharing, telecommuting, part-time employment, and more. The labor force has begun shifting away from that traditional full-time job towards a contingent workforce of part-time, temporary, and contract workers who are hired on an as-needed basis. Supervising and motivating such independent contractors has its own set of challenges and expectations for managers. Generational differences present challenges ranging from appearance to technology and management style, which can be accommodated by flexibility. For example, Gen Y employees want bosses who are open-minded, experts in their field even if they aren't tech-savvy, organized, and want teachers to respect their needs for work-life balance, to provide constant feedback and communication in compelling ways, and to provide stimulating learning.